We have to ask, what is the government's role in the emergency services, particularly fire and ambulance? I'm not going to talk at the moment about rail. When it comes to the NHS, it's the government's contract with the people, which is at the heart of the problem and the failure of the government to recognise that. As for fire, again, it's the government's responsibility to provide and ensure that there is proper protection from fire. I think equally proper protection for the police, proper protection by the police against crime. These are the government's responsibility. And the government has then delegated that responsibility to the ambulance service, to the NHS, to the fire brigade, to the police. If the police do not do that job, if the ambulance or the NHS do not do the job, then the government needs to provide alternatives. So to penalise the unions for not providing a minimum level of cover is to get this on the wrong foot, I'm afraid. Now, the government have slightly smudged the picture by adding to this quota, by adding the rail services. Now, the rail service is a slightly different issue because it is private. Whether we want it to be private or not is an entirely different matter. I think the rail services have monumentally destroyed themselves and possibly other sectors of society by the strikes this week. Certainly they've had a huge impact on theatre because people simply cannot travel to see shows, to see pantomimes during the one season in the year when the pantomimes are on and theatres rely on that revenue pretty well to cover the whole year. This is the week, this is the month when theatres make their money. And the rail strikes have seriously compromised that. And certainly there have been cancellations of performances. I think it's very, very sad. But I don't think that we can turn around and say in the same degree that it's the government's responsibility to provide rail. I think it is the government's responsibility to provide a fire service and to provide the NHS. As simple as that. And I think Business Secretary Grant Shapps is wrong when he says that this will restore the balance between those seeking to strike and protecting the public from disproportionate disruption. Actually, it's not going to do anything because the terms which are being put forward are vague. And vagueness simply produces more legal disputes. All of this, or this particular law which the government is planning to put forward, is simply words that are going to drag things out in the courts, and in the end it's not going to reach very much. It's not our intention to penalise individuals, no. It is the intention of the government to avoid responsibility. And it's wrong.